All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of This Week in Charts via Carnivore Trades and Wall Street from Main Street. Starting off with the S&P 500. Again, just a pretty choppy week overall for the equity markets. The thesis remains pretty much the same, though. We're getting really long in the tooth, and I think this market's overdue for a correction, possibly a pretty steep correction. There's been a lot going on in the repo market right now. Chinese stocks got absolutely slaughtered over the past week or so. It bounced in a little bit here as we're looking at Alibaba, looking at Baidu. So there's lots of problems out there right now. Hasn't quite translated over to the US markets just yet, but we are getting to a point where I think that we will probably either roll over or put in some type of a blow-off move. So a lot of people have been asking me about the VIX here. So we did a good job making some money on this 2 weeks ago, and I still have a lower. My downside target still hasn't been satisfied on the VIX. I do think that there is one more leg down before it's really bottomed, really going to put in a major bottom. That said, if you don't have any exposure to it at all, I wouldn't have any issue with anyone maybe taking a starter position, getting some type of exposure to volatility in case the market does roll over. But I ultimately think that we can get the VIX a lot cheaper here, especially if the markets put in a blow-off move, which I think that they might over the next couple of weeks, really going into Jackson Hole. That's really kind of my apex target here for really some major fireworks that could go off in the next month or so. But so yeah, equity markets again just pretty quiet this week, even though we did have earnings. Now spiders did not make a new high on Friday because of Amazon getting slaughtered all the way back down to this 100 moving average. I pointed this out in my Friday video, but essentially if you just take a fib retrace right here, it's pretty much a perfect 50% retrace, and then you have these little pivots here which you broke out of. So it's kind of just back testing this breakout. So nice amount of support there. If it got down to the 618 or that 200 moving average on Monday on a gap down, that could actually be a good area to buy for a short, quick swing trade. Although I don't think it necessarily gets there. I think it probably holds at least for now at this 33 area, which we closed at. But yeah, again, Tesla getting a nice bid. I want to talk about this as well because I don't think that the market's ready to roll over. Now, I follow a lot of names out there that I respect very much, and they are expecting a top like this week if we haven't already put one in. I think it's a few weeks out. But, again, that's why I say, if you have no exposure to the VXX and you want to get in, I have no problem with a small position. But stocks like Tesla here, if Tesla had a nice Thursday and Friday going into the weekend, if Tesla gaps up above 700, this market's not going to roll over. If it gaps up above 700, it's going straight to this back test trend line. And let me tell you, the market will not sell off if Tesla's up. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, FANG overall just kind of, having great earnings, but disappointing performance-wise. Facebook faded in pretty nicely, although, it's still very close to all-time highs. Microsoft had a bit of a sell the news, although it is holding up very well. But overall, a muted response, despite having great earnings. There's Apple there and Google as well. But Google had such a run into earnings. They would have had to come out with they had a monster quarter anyway, but they would have had to really go gangbusters if they were going to really have a great performance after earnings. But notice this could make a case that there is a little bit of an island reversal here, so just be careful of that. This gap up and everything just kind of inside bar here. Sometimes this can be a little bit of a reversal pattern, so just watch Google there for now. Let's quickly go over. Let's get to some commodities. We'll go over crude really quick. Nothing too new to report here. Again, crude just kind of grinding back up. It will have resistance at this red bar high, which is where you started this breakdown. Not exactly sure how much higher crude will go. Maybe it gets up to double top now. Maybe it rolls over, but I'm not expecting too much. I'm not exactly expecting a higher high here in crude, although it is holding up for now. So with that in mind, we'll just respect the uptrend. It back tested this 100 moving average and it passed that. So yeah, crude holding up for now. But again, I think it's again, just like a lot of things, it's really long in the tooth here. You guys know on the monthly chart, pretty much just went straight up over the last year, and now you're into this double top. So I am expecting a little bit of resistance here, at least in the medium term. So an interesting development in gold here as we flip over to gold. So gold actually caught a bid on Thursday, although it gave those gains right back on Friday. But as soon as we had this contract roll over, see this green line here, gold started bidding. And it makes me wonder if this takedown was mainly to get it lower just for this particular contract. They didn't want it to break out. It could have been somebody holding a short position or some options that they wanted to expire worthless, and they used some of their capital to push it down. That's just one theory. But so gold having a nice little pop here this week. Now again, coming back in on Friday, but you know, this is not a terrible look here. What we want to look for on gold really is the GDX, and the GDX actually, it did pull back a little bit on Friday, but you know, you held this inside bar here from Thursday. And what we want to look for is the GDX is a great leading indicator. If the GDX can get it back above these moving averages here and, you know, clear this pivot top, it's still not out of the woods, but it's in much better technical shape. And that could be a leading indicator that we're going to see some acclimation in the precious metals market. So just keep an eye on that. We'll flip over to silver really quick. So silver, much of the same thing, getting a bit of a bid on Thursday, pausing on Friday. Again, this chart's not the best right now. I'm still not in love with it. But if you can get back above this red bar high, then you could make a case that silver's got some upside in it. On the other hand, if it does break lower, we're looking around the $23, $22 area. We'll have to see what it looks like when it gets there, but I do have some pretty good support penciled in that range. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. So let's just quickly flip over to crypto. We'll just take a look at Bitcoin really quick, because Bitcoin has been kind of the talk of the weekend, really. So obviously, most of you know, crypto has been on a bit of a tear over the last 2 weeks, ever since Elon Musk and Cathie Wood and Jack from Twitter all kind of pumped it. It has caught a bit of a bid. Now you've closed above this pivot top, so you did make a new high. You haven't been above this area since June, and it's possible that we break higher. I think it's possible that we could get up as high as this this trend line. So if we just pull this out, I think it's possible that we could essentially backtest this breakout, or backtest this breakdown, I should say. Maybe you even just get up to 50,000, and that's your resistance level. But in either case, to me, I'd be very careful about being long here, because this could easily be a fake breakout or some type of bull trap. And judging by sentiment, I say the possibility of that's pretty high. Pretty much everyone is talking about crypto right now. Oh, crypto, this, Bitcoin, that, 40,000, 42,000. So it's getting a lot of hype. So whenever I see that, and I see that, you know, an equity breaking out, and there's a lot of hype around on the internet and on TV, it definitely makes me be careful of that. Same thing down here when everybody was, you know, when Bitcoin was breaking back down below 30,000, everyone was bearish. You know, oh, Bitcoin's going lower, this, that, and now sentiment is flipped over pretty quickly. So you just be careful of that. So this ended up being a bear trap. Just be careful for this being a bull trap. We may stay range bound for a little longer. However, if we do break higher, there's going to be resistance at about 50,000, like I said, which is where your breakdown level was. See these pivots here when you broke down through there, and we'll give it the upside to say 50,000, but possibly to this upsloping trend line, which was your head and shoulders neckline. So that's just what I'm looking at in crypto. However, you know, look at the other cryptos. Well, Ethereum getting a bid, but yesterday wasn't looking so hot. But some of these other cryptos, Litecoin, Doge, XRP, not really putting in nearly as robust of a move as Bitcoin has over the last week. So the alt's not doing as well. So just keep that in mind. And so lastly, we'll just cover the Robinhood IPO really quick. So the IPO is generally a flop for the most part. Lack of retail interest, really, you know, just the retail buying wasn't there. A lot of retail investors don't like Robinhood, specifically because of their policies, even those people who use Robinhood, the fact that they restrict buying and selling and so on and so forth. So that's caused a lot of Robinhood users to switch over to TD or, Interactive Brokers or Webull or some of these other apps. And yeah, generally, the thing is with IPOs like this, I think I've talked about this on here before, but this has probably been the most highly anticipated IPO in the last decade or so. If we look at Blackstone, again, Blackstone was the most anticipated IPO in 2007, and that was at the height of the bubble, so June 2007. And we all know what happened there with the S&P 500 and the markets overall. So you topped out in June, or topped out in July, right after the Blackstone IPO, put in a little double top in October, and then crashed pretty much straight down. And the same thing really with Coinbase. Coinbase April 14th IPO, Bitcoin top April 14th. So these IPOs have a history of marking the tops in absolutely overextended euphoric bull markets. So I'm not saying the top is in today, I'm not saying the market's going to crash tomorrow, but it is one of those things that we definitely have to keep an eye on. So again, I think I referred to it before as a Tower of Babel indicator, and that's kind of the way I look at it. But anyways, so I just had to cover that really quick. But you guys take great care, and we will see you next weekend on the chart.